What's going on, guys? This is Michael Jones, better known as ICEBERG from the QuantVue Discord community, and I want to bring another educational strategy video that you can use for your trading, whether you're trading NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, better known as ES, all the particular instruments that are available to trade. And I wanted to show another particular strategy for you guys to consider. So, um, timestamp for y'all is currently September 26, 2024 is when this video is being created. And this is considered FOMC Day. There's several different speakers that are uh, talking today that their words literally can move the market tremendously up or down. And there was also unemployment and GDP news that occurred on this day as well. So typically, when there's lots of news that is occurring, this tends to intimidate um, individuals that don't have as much experience in the market, right? And we want to make sure that while we're not trading the news per se, and I don't recommend that because a jolt in the market can happen anytime once whatever information is released. Moves the market tremendously. But what I will say is that as I've stated with QuantVue, there's strategies that you can use that can help put you in the best position. And I just wanted to highlight another one of those. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the tools that I'm showing here. If you heard any of my videos before, it's going to be um, pretty much standard everything I have between both of the Q pros listed, the freebie indicators, which is the squeeze and ultimate reversals, the consolidation zones indicator, which gives you an indication of not to be in the market because it's going sideways, as well as SMC, which shows our high and our low um, for where price is between the swing low and the swing high. So let's go ahead and get right to the video. Now, during this particular Asian and London session, if I remember correctly, the high of the market peaked at about, I want to say either 295 or 345 on NASDAQ before market open. And as you can see, it's only showing about between 60 to 70 points. So there was just a tremendous push to the downside, right? So how do we navigate that or any specific day? Well, if you want to use this specific strategy, I'm going to give an example, and I'm going to rewind just a little bit on the chart, just so you can see multiple examples of trades you would consider and trades you would not consider, right? And as you can see, there's a lot of Q wave alerts here. So this can be intimidating because it can at least mentally make you think to be taking every specific alert. We certainly don't want to do that. We want multiple confluences to aid our trading. And that's essentially how it goes. So let's give a couple examples here. So I don't traditionally trade on the market open. I normally like to allow price to show me what it wants to do for the trading day. But this actually is a perfect example of how you can consider trading Qline with Qwave, right? So I don't like to trade Qline by itself, and I don't like to trade Qwave by itself. But when it gives me confluences between both of them, it helps my confidence that the trade is going to go my way. And why is that, right? So with Qline, um, as everyone know, it's a trending tool, right? So when you see Qline, and here's an example where it's sell Qline. So the break is downward here. As you can see, if you would have taken this trade just from this point on downward, it would have been an incredible trade, right? Uh, but the reason I don't like to take uh, the trades by themselves, and I'm going to zoom in just to give an example. Let's say for whatever reason, if I happen to be late on this and I took it here or even here. As you can see, it peaks down a couple points before going. Actually, let's do some math. So 507, you can see several different wrinkles here, and it goes up to nearly 14 points, right? So um, most individuals don't have a 14 or 15 point stop, which would, you would consider thinking that that was a false alert when it wasn't. It just your entry was not as sound, right? So what I like to do is when I get either a Q line first and Q wave second, or even a Q wave first and then Q line, then is when I consider taking that trade, right? So we get Q wave way back here, which puts us at about 527. We still technically are in an uptrend because of the previous alert of buy Q line here, right? So my attention is on, on this elevator. I'm paying attention. So we see that, and the trade goes a little bit further. And then once we get a sell Q line, it breaks downward. This is giving added confluence or support to the Q wave. And then I take this trade on down. I may consider withstanding this depending on how many points I have, but let's just say that I get out, right? Well, we now know that we're in a Q wave and we still have Q line available as the trend downward. So if this goes up, and as you can see, cloud is forming a little bit, and then it proceeds to go back down, I get back in this trade again. And if it goes up a little bit here and then goes down, I consider getting back in again. Why? Because we're not going to get multiple versions of a Q wave or Q line. It's only going to give us the alert until that changes. And you can see that changes way down here with Q wave bull, right? Now, a couple things I want to say regarding um, this specific alert, right? I always prefer to stay within the trend that Q line is telling me. So within this big push down, although if I got in on this opportunity here, maybe at about 464 and it peaks to 472, which is an 8 point trade, the reason why I would prefer to ignore this bull alert for Q wave is because it's going against my overall trend, right? And as you can see, although this was a brief push up, what happens? We push right back down for a larger, more uh, um, profitable opportunity. And it's went further, which means if for any reason your entry is late, the chances of you catching the negative side of that is smaller. This is the better alert to take. And again, why? Because this um, is an added confluence with Q line, right? So let's give another example. And we can go up and down the chart that you'll see these alerts, right? So we get this big push down here, and we start to push back up above this line. You see Q wave forms first, and Q wave forms first, so we don't take this yet because, for all intents and purposes, we still are in a trending motion down. We haven't got enough upward pressure to get a buy Q line. And then what happens? We get a buy Q line. So we have Q wave and Q line supporting to take this opportunity. And as you can see, momentum is showing you a push up. Eventually, we get a diamond. And then, as you can see, the money ball diamond shows throughout. And if you would have taken this trade maybe at 437 or maybe at 443, we push up to 457 before peaking at about 464. And again, there's several different opportunities that shows this, right? So again, another example. Q wave forms first, but we don't consider taking Q wave first because for all intents and purposes, again, we still are in the buy or the bull trending Q line. Not until we get a sell that lets us know we now are trending downward. This supports Q wave, and then you take this trade downward. And then again, you get a diamond that forms. We have momentum that forms to the downside. That's another example. Again, here's an example here of a trade we don't consider, right? Because even though this is a legitimate alert, it doesn't go as high as you want. And as you can see, we kind of are swimming sideways here before we get another bear alert. Now, this is a smaller alert, but it again, it does correspond with Qline. So if you wanted to still take this because it's corresponding with that trend downward, you can do that. And you probably would have gotten maybe at about 10 points if your entry was sound, right? So you see these up and down the chart, right? Like here's another example of one you don't take. So we get a buy Q line and then this Q wave bear alert comes. We're at odds with each other. Now, even though it's probably enough points to get, we're not caring about every little bit of points. We want the trade that gives us the most fruit possible when we take the opportunity, right? So we're in this buy Q line. It's kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down. Um, but we wait until either here where we take this brief push up, or you see what Q wave bear switches, and then we get another Q line alert, and then we get this big push down, right? So this is a more uh, simplified strategy than the iceberg strategy that I created, where you wait for price to go above the line, then you look for money ball to flip, then you also look for momentum to flip, where you're looking for several different confluences. I've had people that say that not it's hard per se, but you just have to have your eyes on several different parts of the chart at once. With this Q line and Q wave strategy, you're just looking for two different confluences, and then if the trade is everything that it needs to be for you, then eventually you kind of will technically get into the iceberg strategy because the diamond will form as you see here, and momentum will show a zone as you see there, and then for a bull trade it'll push up, and then for a bear trade it'll push down. So for this one again, this is the Q line and Q wave uh, bear strategy. Just wanted to show you guys another technique that helps identify with the trend, and it allows you to take several different opportunities up and down the chart, and it doesn't require as much confluences for you to look at. For the iceberg strategy, it's four different things that I look for. But with this one, you can just consider two. And then if the trade is great, you eventually get to the third, which is the Moneyball Diamond, and the fourth, which is momentum. But it's not something that you're having to eye on your own. So um, I hope this, guys, helps with your trading. Greatly appreciate being able to present the information to you all, and we look forward to providing you guys another video in the future. Again, my name is Michael Jones from the QuantVue Discord community. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.